So imagine you're about to take a ride on the coolest bicycle you found at a garage sale. You're excited, you're pumped, and you're ready to ride and flex that new whip at the park. But as soon as you hop on the bike, stuff feels weird. The gears ain't shifting properly, there's something sticky on the handlebar, and everything just feels off. Like the ride isn't as smooth as you imagined. And then all of a sudden, as you're trying to figure out your bike, you see two other people riding by that have the same model as you. This is exactly what happens when you use royalty-free melodic loops in your tracks for sync licensing. And it's literally killing your chances of actually landing a sync placement and changing your career forever.
Worst idea ever.
And we're talking about all the different sample libraries: Cymatics, Sounds, Looperman, Splice.
How? Hold on, bro. How?
And here's the reason why. What if after you took that bike home and you're just like, man, I thought I was gonna be the only one with the bike, and all of a sudden you get a knock at the door, and it's a surprising visit from Neighborhood Watch because they thought you stole your bike because there was a bunch of other people with that same model.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
This actually happens to music libraries where they're having their tracks being flagged due to copyright and publishing infringements, and this raises the stakes for them. And most library contracts now will point to you for recourse instead of them saying, hey, we didn't know. Why? Because tune recognition software like Content ID on YouTube can't tell the difference between a pop star or a producer using a royalty-free melodic sample and the track that you have as the same one. All it knows is that they published theirs first, which means you stole it. Notice I said royalty-free melodic samples and loops. If you use royalty-free one-shots, those are completely fine. Also, sample-based percussion loops from stuff like Contact, Native Instruments are totally fine as long as they're not used as the primary melody or element in a song. Some of those drum loops do go hard. Now, even if there is no foul play, the damage is already done. You've ruined your reputation, you've hurt the library's reputation, and now whatever client that the library had, they're behind schedule. But that's not the only reason it could ruin your reputation and your career. Music made heavily by repeatable, royalty-free melodic loops makes the bike from the garage sale seem rusty and not put together. It's way less reliable and makes your music sound less expensive. Nobody really wants to be considered with low budget. And when that happens, we're not going to get paid what our music deserves to get paid, compared to a bike that was maybe built from scratch with the finest materials. Normally, this is the exact reason why most people don't get into sync licensing. So if you're a sample-based producer that primarily uses loops and different samples to make music, I have 3 tactics that I personally use to avoid this issue altogether that you can start to adopt right now. Check it out. And the last one is probably the easiest thing that you could possibly do, and it's going to train your ears and make you a better producer. So stick around and hit that subscribe button if you want to learn more about sync. First thing we're going to do is make sure that we're learning constantly in regards to music theory and composition. Yes, music theory may sound scary, I understand, but it's just putting a label or name on something that you feel sounds cool. That's it. There are no rules or regulations that you have to absolutely abide by, but understanding certain things about music theory is going to help you make stuff faster because you understand how it works. Just like a bike. If I know how the chain works, I could probably get a new one or put some LED lights on it or whatever. I understand the mechanism. That way your stuff is going to sound more unique, which normally leads to more placements. The second thing you can do is actually hidden in plain sight, and that's collaborating with other musicians. It's like teaming up with a group of cyclists, each bringing their own unique aspect to the ride. Whether one person's bringing the music, other person's bringing snacks, that kind of thing. You get to learn, grow, and more importantly, create music that has a mix of unique styles without having to bring in loops. And although these 2 pieces of the formula are really great, my favorite and absolute easiest one to implement is actually the third thing, which is just recreating the sample. Because now if you recreate the sample, A, it'll never sound exactly the same as the loop that you got it from. B, it's going to make you a better sound designer because now you're listening with different intent. And C, if you're recreating it, you're naturally probably going to be like, oh, I like this note instead of the note that the person that made the loop chose. So it's going to eventually morph into your own sound regardless. Think of it as like actually upgrading the sample instead of copying it. It might seem like a little bit of extra work, but taking that little extra time ensures that whatever song that you make is truly unique and avoids any other content ID or copyright issues. As for your new bike, if you use those 3 techniques with a couple adjustments here and there, a little paint, a new chain, some oil, voila. It's not absolutely perfect, but it sounds way better than everybody else's because it's different, and now it's uniquely yours because it's original. But crafting music for sync requires a lot more detail. If you want to dive deeper, check this video out here, and it's going to teach you how to make music built for sync.